stare at your distorted reflection upon the curved metallic vehicle. Soon your image is washed out by an intense orange light. The car light flashes elsewhere, and you see yourself re-emerge. The flashing red and green blends with the terracotta cop lights, making the roadway look like a low-brow disco. Whenever there's a messy accident, groups of people surround the area like vultures around a dead carcass. A police officer stands outside the crime scene, preventing unauthorized people from entering.
Sorry, can't let you in here.
Nick's best. Your ID seems convincing enough to get the officer's attention.
Okay, go on in.
From your angle, all you can see is a small crowd of curious people and the authorities forcing them back. You enter the alley. It used to hold fertilizer, but now it's digressing into a similar substance. A notice tells all that this building is scheduled for demolition in 6 weeks' time. A powerful force has turned the wall to a void, yet the bricks stacked on the ground aren't broken. A lone garbage can is filled and surrounded with wasted trash. Thick metal bars run vertical to the windowsill, blocking any attempt of entry, even though a gaping hole lies in the wall nearby. Thick, segmented tubes twist all around, burrowing through various boxes and into the walls of the alleyway. You stare at the forensic dusting the floor. She looks up, and your eyes quickly dart elsewhere. You stare at... The victim's last gasp of life has been outlined by chalk.
Yeah? What do you want? Sorry, Agent Sykes. I've been up for the past 3 days, and it's been getting me a little testy. What can I help you with? But please, make it quick, because I'm on my way out. Funny you should mention that, because there have been a number of bodies in the last 2 weeks that had small traces of blue dust on them. But more than that, these bodies were decayed. I mean, decayed. 5 years on the force? Never seen anything like it. I don't think so. This is definitely the work of a vicious killer. As for the decayed bodies, though, we're not sure what's causing it. It may be some new type of lethal narcotic. You might want to talk to Jim, the head forensic down at the station. I'm sure he knows more about the blue dust than I do. Officer Rizzo was on duty when she was murdered. She would patrol the area and clean up the local trash, if you know what I mean. Look, I'm not sure what she was doing in this alley, but I do know she died violently. Something, and I don't mean human, leapt out and slashed her. She most likely bled to death within a few minutes. Yeah, I mean as in she looked like some damn jigsaw puzzle by the time the killer got through with her. There were huge incisions across her face and upper torso. This killer is sick. I mean real sick. Well, we don't have much. 3 other bodies like Rizzo's have been found in the last 48 hours. We even found one over at Heisenberg Park a few hours ago. Unfortunately, no. We found his body so mutilated that it was unrecognizable. He didn't even have any ID on him, which makes me wonder if he was robbed. We'll try to identify him through his dental records. That's the whole point. We don't. The killer hasn't even left any recognizable fingerprints on any of the victims. It's so frustrating. No person has that type of strength. But there were humanoid footprints found by the victims. The boys down at the station think the killer's a cyborg with prosthetic claws. As for me, I'm not jumping to any conclusions until there's more to go on. She was brought to the city mortuary about an hour ago. What kind of question is that? If I didn't like the new Aras Police Department, I wouldn't be working there. He's a pretty nice guy. He should be able to tell you more about the recent deaths than I can. You know, a lot of people say he's real cranky, and I'm not denying it. But he works really long hours, and he's a real asset to our team. Look, I don't date men that come on to me at a murder scene. He's out in front keeping the usual crowd out. Thank God for that. It's a great place to keep a forensic busy. If you talk to Fred, the chief mortician, I'm sure he'll be able to help you. He's usually a no-nonsense type of guy. We always try to help each other out. Which reminds me, he owes me some lab equipment. Too bad. I could really use that right now. Yeah, I know that newspaper. The department buys it in bulk as a cheap alternative to paper towels.
You take the subway to the morgue.
There are too many loose ends and not enough tight answers. A murdered police officer and Nick's death. Where's the connection? They were both slashed brutally. That can't be a coincidence. Shootings might be commonplace around here, but having a body checkered with claw marks is definitely the work of an individual. And a sick one at that. Nick and this officer, I think her name was Rizzo, might be in a position of power, but what about the other victims? One was a community college student, and the other was a desk clerk for a fishing company. Not exactly frontrunners for a terrorist group, but then why else would they be killed? Unless they were bystanders who got in the way when he set out to kill Nick and Rizzo. But how could that be? They were killed several days before Nick. Just doesn't make sense. Well, maybe the chief mortician can fill in some blanks.
You stare at the gargoyle's pain-twisted smile. You look and see the gate clanking against its tightly wrapped lock. With each push of the wind, the gate tries to break free. Flickering gas lamps are fastened everywhere, shining on every horrible niche carved by a questionable architect. The mortuary doors stand before you, awaiting to be opened. They call it a manhole, but nothing remotely human lives in the tunnels below. Colorful excrement mixes together like a Jackson Pollock masterpiece. As if you opened a tomb, flat, dry air escapes the mortuary and disperses into the atmosphere. You enter the silent building. It offers you a drink, but you decline. Cleaning fluid a la carte, there is a diary resting on top. You exit the morgue. You submerge your hand into thick, bubbling, pasty gunk. A half-eaten banana squirms and oozes between the cracks in your fingers. You finally find a picture of a young woman. You remove as much gum as you can, and then you carefully place the photo in your wallet. It seems you've gotten his attention.
Thanks. I've been looking for this for weeks. Please allow me to help you. I'll get Fred.
Ah, you must be Federal Agent Sykes. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. How may I help you? Certainly. I am here to be of service. I see you're a very perceptive man, Mr. Sykes. We found traces of blue crystals on some of the bodies. No. These bodies were not slashed. They were decayed. I wasn't sure what the particles were, so I sent them down to the forensic lab for analysis. You must know that I have received 5 bodies this week related to this killer. I'm in a very serious business, and I'm telling you, this is as serious as it gets. She was so cut up, I felt that putting her in a regular locker room wouldn't be right. She's on floor 7. That's our special floor. Now, if you have any further questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If not, I'll be happy to take you upstairs. A very respectable department. I'm proud to be working with them. He's a very hard worker. In fact, he's working on the blue dust analysis even as we speak. He's a hard-working man. He also has a great sense of humor. It's a good city for my type of business. That smut newspaper? You have a strange sense of humor, Mr. Sykes. Some of my best customers are from there. As you see, there's not much left to go by. The deep lacerations in the torso resemble the mauls of a Sundarban tiger, but the 2-inch depth of these slashes is remarkable, even for those man-eaters. A peculiar pattern is recurrent in all the lesions, an upward cutting stroke. This is quite atypical of the downward clawing pattern of most animals. You will note the number of cuts in the throat and face. They are seen at both lateral directions and at considerable height from the ground, indicating a bipedal attacker. When she was found, the hands were completely severed in an upward motion, probably in a last defensive attempt. Really quite brutal.
Excuse me, I feel...
Splotches of blood collect around the mortician's body. With the push of a button, you can open the world of the dead. Each mangled, torn, and tormented body tells a tale that is better left unheard. The shattered windows used to be heavily barred so that people couldn't escape, but the only customers here are ones who have already passed away. A pair of highly sophisticated ultraviolet goggles lie in a pool of blood. With one peek, the user could see all that is hidden among the shadows. You carefully remove the goggles and try to wipe free the droplets of blood. Splotch. The window has already been forced open from the outside. You can't make head nor tails of the controls. You press a couple of buttons randomly, but nothing happens. The huge face appears to be Medusa, one of the 3 Gorgon sisters in Greek mythology. According to legend, her hair was made of writhing snakes, and any man that gazed directly at her would turn to stone. And walk into the corridor. You rush down the stairs and out of the building. A warm, pasty smell rubs against your nostrils. Its delicate aroma is reminiscent of a compost heap that has been out in the sun too long. After a few more sniffs, you decide to refrain from going down. You take the subway to the New Aris Chronicle. You collect all your loose pens and put them in a mug. A collection of pens, coffee mugs, and books reside on your desk. There's a small wad of gum underneath that you've been working on since last month. You open the drawer and look through the supplies. It's still in its usual disarray, but a new roll of adhesive tape catches your eye. The month-old wad of gum is the perfect hiding place for your spare apartment key. After several minutes of twisting and scraping, you manage to separate your key from the taffy-like gum.
After seeing what was left of Officer Rizzo, I just had to get out of there. The room was spinning as fast as my stomach. I just couldn't handle looking at that corpse. All those pieces of her. It was like the son of a bitch was trying to sculpt her into a piece of artwork. What the hell happened while I was gone? I scanned that room when I first walked in, and I certainly didn't see anyone crouching in a corner. This guy works quick. He didn't have more than 2 minutes before I entered the room again. How fast do you have to be to pull that off? Fast? How about inhumanly strong? Those were metal bars over that window. It would take a pull tractor to pry those free. And he pulled them back like it was tin foil. The way I see it, the killer slammed the body tray into the mortician and then grabbed the dead body and broke through the window to his escape. Which all makes sense if it weren't for some huge gaping questions. Like, why would anyone steal a mangled body? Are we talking a cultist here, or maybe someone with an extreme fetish? Even so, that wouldn't explain how he could jump several stories without splattering. The only thing I saw outside that was disturbed was the open manhole. If only I was in that room when this all happened. First Nick, then that police officer, and finally the mortician. What the hell is going on? I keep getting this shaky feeling like I'm snooping around a house with a flimsy structure. The more I pry, the closer I get to it all collapsing around me. I just need some sleep. I'll deal with it all tomorrow.
You activate the phone.
Hi, Tim.
Jessica, hi. How did you get my number?
I checked your wallet out when I brought you back to my place.
Oh,
Listen, I wanted to apologize for Frankie's behavior. He really isn't a bad guy.
well, I'm sure he isn't.
Well, I really want to talk to you. How about dinner?
Well, okay.
I have a friend who works at the Skyline restaurant. I'll try to make reservations. I'll tell you what, I'll page you as soon as I do.
Great, I've been meaning to go there myself.
Listen, Tim, I really have to go. We'll talk over dinner.
Wait, guess I'll see you soon.
You have nobody to call. The latest VidPhone model with the popular laptop design. Like an infant, the beeper is small in size and large in voice. You check and make sure the battery is fully charged, then put it in your pocket. A mug sits by your VidPhone, stained of old coffee residue. You spot the latest issue of the new Ars Chronicle. A narrow bookshelf sits between the closet and hallway doors. You pick up a copy of Don Quixote and thumb through it. You pick up a copy of Don Quixote and remnants of dinners past lay forgotten amidst the decrepit snacks. One of many reminders of things to do. Leftovers from last night's pasta rests upon the stovetop. Behind the door lays your daily attire. Knowing it's not your bedtime, you decide to wait to change clothes. The outside world scrapes against your splintered door. Tokens issued by the new Aris Transit Authority. You open the door. The outside world scrapes against your splintered door. You walk outside. You strike up a conversation.
Hey Tim, how's it going? Your usual? So, how goes the reporting war? Yeah, well, I might have a tip for you. It ain't much, but... Nah, this is legit, man. I got this direct from my brother, who got it from his cousin's friend. You're laughing now, but you remember how the homeless started disappearing about a year ago? Was over. I hear more street people are starting to disappear, except this time, before they vanish, they start acting real strange. Now tell me there's not a connection. Something to think about, man.
You take the subway to the murder scene. You buy a handful of tokens and hope they last until your car is fixed. You go back up the stairs and onto the street. You enter the alley. You put on You take the tissue and put it in a plastic bag. You exit the alleyway. A vagrant tries to ignore his surroundings as he sleeps under the comfort of yesterday's newspaper. You kneel down next to the man and try to talk with him.
You know what I like most about visitors? Nothing. The scram.
You take the subway to the New Aris Police Department.
I had a hunch there'd be something at the crime scene. I mean, with this killer thrashing all about and pieces of the body found everywhere, there was bound to be some evidence strewn about. I knew their search wouldn't be thorough enough. I finally have something tangible, something I can work with. I've got to get this organic sample to the NAPD forensic lab for analysis. That means I've got to go through Barbarelli. I hope he doesn't give me hassle. I like the man, but if he harasses me, I'm going to have to put some serious pressure on him. This is the best evidence I have, and nothing's going to stop me from getting this killer. Hey, just take a deep breath. I picked up some new evidence I needed badly. I mean, things are starting to work out.
He seems annoyed at your approach.
He's not there yet? Must be running late. Come back later.
You walk down the corridor and enter Barbarelli's office. The papers are completely shredded. It'll be a mess to carry around. One side remains smooth and shiny, but the other side is made with the same secret formula that is stuck on the bottom of movie theater floors. You tape up the fragments of paper. The paper is part of a letter, apparently from Barbarelli's mistress.